Hey guys, this is the 11th video in the Great Spiritual Awakening series. Today we're going to learn about reality and whether science is getting closer to understanding it. This video has 3 parts. In the first part, we will learn about an eye-opening conversation between 2 people. In the second part, we will briefly learn about a child who remembered his past life. And in the third part, we will learn that life is a dream created by our minds. Now let's begin. Part 1. Mary, a scientist, looked at data taken from a spacecraft. Mary said, "According to this data, our universe is about 14 billion years old." A janitor named Hank heard Mary's statement and he responded, "But Mary, it's possible that the universe is way younger." Mary replied, "No, it's not possible, Hank. I have data that proves our universe is about 14 billion years old." Hank responded, "I understand, but it could be wrong. Maybe there's evidence out there that proves the universe is way younger than you think." Mary replied, "Hank, you're very unintelligent. Every scientist agrees that the universe is about 14 billion years old. You're an idiot." Suddenly, Mary awoke. You see, Mary was dreaming that she was looking at scientific data, and she was dreaming that she was talking to a janitor named Hank. And the dream began with Mary looking at scientific data, which means the universe within the dream was not 14 billion years old, as Mary had thought. Hank was right all along. According to many scientists, our universe is about 13.8 billion years old. But here's the thing, what we call reality may be a dream, and if reality is a dream, then the universe would be way younger than we think. You see, dreams can only exist with consciousness. Take consciousness out of the dream, and the dream no longer exists. But as far as we know, the earliest conscious life forms existed about 500 million years ago. These life forms were trilobites and fish. If this is the earliest time that consciousness was a part of the universe, then that's when the entire universe began to exist. The universe may appear to be about 14 billion years old, but appearances can be deceiving. If the universe is a dream created by our minds, then it would only begin to exist when consciousness is a part of the universe, which may be about 500 million years ago. The question is, how do we know that the universe is a dream created by our minds? In the movie Inception, Dom Cobb, the protagonist, has a spinning totem. If the totem spins forever, then he is dreaming. But if the totem eventually topples to its side, then he is in reality. The spinning totem is very important to Dom because it is the key to understanding whether he is dreaming or not dreaming. Similarly, if life is a dream, then we need to find evidence that life is a dream. But the problem is, we cannot create a spaceship to travel outside of the dream, and we cannot create a large telescope to look outside of the dream. You see, we have to be open-minded because many of the scientific tools that we use cannot help us determine whether life is a dream. But I believe understanding consciousness is the key to understanding that life is a dream. Part 2. Scientists at the University of Virginia have documented over 1,500 children who remember their past lives. Many of these children remember the names of past life family and friends. Many of them remember the locations of their past life homes and places they visited near their homes. They remember how the homes used to look like when they lived in them, and they remember family secrets. Now I want to briefly look at one reincarnation case. Ryan Hammonds is an American boy who began talking about his past life when he was 4 years old. He told his parents many things about his past life. For example, he said he drove a green car, but he didn't let anyone else drive the green car, and his wife drove a nice black car. He said he hated cats, and he bought his daughter a dog, but she didn't like the dog. He said he had a collection of sunglasses, and he said he had many wives. All of these statements were later proven true for the life of Marty Martin. While his mother Cindy was looking at books about Hollywood, Ryan pointed to the picture of an actor in the movie Night After Night. The actor was not really famous, therefore it was quite difficult to know who the actor was at the time. The reincarnation researcher hired a film archivist to find out who the actor was. They learned the actor was none other than Marty Martin. There was not a lot of public information about Marty Martin, therefore the researcher contacted Marty Martin's daughter, who was in her 50s at the time. She verified some of Ryan's statements about Marty Martin. In total, Ryan made 55 correct statements about Marty Martin. However, 15 of his statements were incorrect or implausible, but the majority of his statements were unverified. Keep in mind, it was very difficult to get information about Martin's personal life. Dr. Jim B. Tucker, a child psychiatrist, was the researcher in this case. There was one statement that Ryan made that bothered Dr. Tucker. Ryan said he died when he was 61 years old, and he seemed certain about this. But on Marty Martin's death certificate, it stated that Martin died at 59 years old. Dr. Tucker looked into this further, and he found that Ryan was correct about Martin's death. Martin died when he was 61 years old, but the death certificate was incorrect.
Of course, a lot of people are going to say, come on, this is the parent or somebody else feeding them information.
I mean, it's just inconceivable that the parents, for some reason, had done all that. This information wasn't on the internet.
But even with the 55 specific things Ryan said that turned out to be true, one claim still bothered Dr. Tucker.
He said he didn't see why God would let you get to be 61 and then make you come back as a baby. So that looked like just an incorrect statement.
That's because Marty Martin's death certificate stated he was 59 when he died.
Since then, I've gotten information that the death certificate was actually incorrect, which would have made Marty Martin 61 when he died.
So he was just lying about his age like everybody else in Hollywood.
Or is a typo on the death certificate, or, who knows what.
Right.
Ryan was right all along.
Part 3. If reincarnation is real, then that means consciousness existed before birth and consciousness survives death. In other words, consciousness is neither created nor destroyed. Now you might be wondering, how does this information tell us that life is a dream? When Mary awoke from her dream, the Mary within the dream stopped existing. Also, the entire dream stopped existing. Similarly, when a person dies, consciousness continues to exist, but the person stops existing and the universe stops existing from the perspective of the non-living soul. Here's why that's true. Meet Bob. Bob's eyes became destroyed, therefore Bob could not see anything. Later, Bob's taste buds became destroyed, hence Bob could not taste anything. Then, Bob's nose and sinuses became destroyed, therefore Bob could not smell anything. After, Bob's ears became destroyed, hence Bob could not hear anything. Lastly, Bob died. That means the consciousness of Bob cannot sense the universe. The consciousness of Bob survived death, but Bob no longer exists, and the universe doesn't exist from the perspective of Bob's soul. If we take reincarnation into consideration, then the soul of Bob will experience many more lives, but the universe only exists when the soul is experiencing life. When the soul isn't experiencing life, the universe doesn't exist from the perspective of the soul. You see, the universe is a dream created by our minds. We are all souls having a connected dream experience. When a person dies, the soul briefly stops experiencing the universe, but from the perspective of the living beings, the universe doesn't stop existing when a person dies. The living beings don't realize that the universe is a connected dream experience. Therefore, they think the universe can exist without consciousness. But this is not true. It is consciousness that survives death. And it is the universe that doesn't survive from the perspective of the non-living soul. Imagine there are no conscious life forms in the universe. Therefore, the universe has no consciousness at all. Now the question is, does the universe exist? The answer is no. Who can say the universe exists? No one can say that. We continue to exist forever, but if we're no longer connected to the universe, then the universe cannot exist. Consciousness is a key to the existence of the universe, just like consciousness is a key to the existence of dreams and thoughts. You see, understanding consciousness is the key to understanding that reality is a dream, but the problem is many people believe that consciousness is merely created by brain activity, and they believe consciousness will not survive death. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, once said, "He who looks outside dreams, and he who looks within awakens." If life is a dream, then it began with the existence of conscious life forms. The universe didn't exist before consciousness was a part of it. That's not how dreams work. But here's the thing, we're not having a conversation about whether life is a dream. Some of the most well-respected scientists believe that our universe is about 13.8 billion years old, and they tell people this is a fact. They tell people this is the truth. But this is the same mentality that Mary had. Mary didn't realize she was dreaming. Therefore, she was tricked by her own mind. Similarly, if life is a dream, which is what the evidence indicates, then the scientists aren't the experts on reality. They're the ones that are being tricked by their own minds. They're not questioning reality deep enough. They think they've already found many of the answers to the deep mysteries of reality, but understanding consciousness has always been the key to understanding the truth about reality. Hey guys, if you're looking for a thought-provoking spiritual book, check out The Great Spiritual Awakening. The link is in the description, and in the next video, we will learn whether the multiverse exists. Click on the thumbnail to watch the video, and last but not least, have an amazing, wonderful day.